I gotta say, I'm pretty much a slave to weather. If it was winter right now, and like snowy, cold, dark, I would have thought to myself, I already have 10,000 steps today, I'm not gonna walk for shit. I would have gone home, watching fucking YouTube videos for the rest of the night, and dreaming about food but not eating anything because I'm on a cut. But now I was gonna walk for about 3 kilometers, but I find myself on a route that's gonna be about 7 kilometers by the time I get home. Just because it's such a nice weather and nice environment. A warm, dark summer evening with a gentle wind, some light rain. Absolutely perfect for me. In addition, walking clears your mind, at least for me, when there's a nice weather and nice environment. Every kind of stress you might have, every problem you might face, it looks a lot clearer in that state. You see what the problem is, you see what the solution is, and you're like, it's not that bad. I'm gonna be able to handle it, everything's fine. And even though you might get stressed out again later, you know that at least the clarity is there, to be seen. So that's what's really good about taking walks, in my opinion. Status update. The rain is not light anymore. But I still like it. I'm not gonna complain. Frog bro. You should get out of the road. I'm gonna scare you away. Good job. This concludes our nature documentary of the week. And an hour later, pretty accurate. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to week 13 of my fat loss vlog. This week I dropped 1 centimeter off of my waist, neck, chest and legs, so everything except arms. My average daily calories were 2,562 and my average weight was only 0.3 kilos less than the previous week. But in these last 4 weeks I've lost exactly 3 kilos, which is 0.75 kilos per week, the perfect pace for me at the moment. I finally hit a weigh-in of under 200 pounds one morning, so that's one milestone crossed right there. Here is a picture with perfect lighting and a perfect angle. I'm finally getting to a point where under perfect conditions and fucking moonlight, some ab definition can be seen. But there are still ways to go. After being sick last week, this week actually felt really good, and I had my highest level of activity I've had on this cut so far. It's comparable to something I did a few weeks ago. I got a similar amount of steps, about 16,000 per day, but whereas back then I cycled 50 kilometers, now I cycled 60 kilometers, and my workout volume was higher as well, because now I'm training for hypertrophy. Also, back then my food intake was about 200 calories per day higher than now. So definitely the biggest deficit so far. Should see the results of that in my average weight next week, or at least the week after that. On a late night walk, I met a friend. Wait up. Wait up. Wait up. Nice butthole. Hello, you. Hello. Yeah. I think I have to go home now. I hope you won't follow me. This one clearly has an owner somewhere in here. Goodbye, friend. The Ice Hockey World Championships was going on. I was taking a calm, nice late night walk. Everywhere is completely quiet, no one to be seen. As soon as Finland wins the game against Canada, people start showing up from their houses on cars and motorcycles, and I start hearing yelling from the downtown area. RIP peaceful walk. Alright, let's talk a little bit about hypertrophy training, or training for muscle growth. How do you know you're working hard enough? How do you know you're working often enough? First of all, your muscles do not take a full week to recover from any workout, no matter how hard you annihilate them. Maybe if you're a total beginner who has never worked out before and you do a really hard leg training session for like 2 hours with 20 sets of squats and deadlifts combined, all taken to failure, you might be sore for a week. But I'm assuming most of us here train regularly. We don't get sore for more than 4, maybe 5 days after a really tough workout. But the extra few days do nothing but piss away valuable time you could spend training and growing again. Maybe you just don't like training legs, huh? This is even more relevant for small muscles like the deltoids, biceps or triceps. You have to be a total monkey-level dumbass to imitate some Mr. Olympia workouts and think that your body is the same as theirs and responds to the same training as theirs do. Your small-ass delts don't take a week to recover from any workout. My small-ass delts don't take a week to recover from any workout. You could probably work out your side delts every day if you really wanted to focus on them, but at that point, joint health becomes more of a concern. There is also the classic saying of stimulate, don't annihilate, which I think is completely true, because if you've already got your muscle pumped and it's considerably weaker than it was before you started training it, why would you keep working it any further than that? You're just making it more fatigued without any extra benefit at that point. Not everyone can feel a pump in all of their muscles though. The back is a really common example of that. I know it was for me for several years. And at that point, weakness is the only measure of muscle stimulation that you should pay attention to. Say you are doing a row, for example, and you're performing all of your sets with a similar level of effort. I'm not even gonna get into doing something like straight sets for hypertrophy, like 4 sets of 10. Because if you can still do 10 reps on your last set with the same weight that you started with, how effective could the first and second set have been? It definitely works, but probably not the best thing for hypertrophy. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But say you do every set to technical failure, and you get 12 reps on the first set, then 9, and then 7. I think at that point, you've sufficiently stimulated the muscle. You've lost half of your initial reps. It's kind of a line in the sand, but usually at that point, your muscle will feel weaker, it'll feel disrupted, and it'll feel pumped. However, if you get something like 12, then 10, and then 10, I think you need to keep doing more sets and lose more reps until you can confidently say that the muscle has been sufficiently tired out. In some situations, it might only take 2 sets to stimulate a muscle optimally. I've gotten a cramp in both of my calves after doing just a couple sets of calf raises after not working my calves for a while. If you go further than that, you have something wrong with your brain. In some cases, it might take 8 to 10 sets to stimulate a muscle optimally. Using myself as an example, my back requires a lot of work, but my biceps, which are usually a part of any back movement, tire out really fast. So back training is pretty tricky for me. I have to be really careful about the variations I use and the technique I use, so that my back is the sole focus without my biceps as well as forearms tiring out too early. After a session, when the muscle isn't sore anymore, it's probably okay to train it again. If the muscle never gets sore, the lats are a good example of that for me, you might be able to train them every day. But at that point, again, joint issues might emerge. Obviously, soreness isn't everything. It's only indicative of muscle damage, not directly muscle growth. But it's the only thing you can measure, and your chest doesn't get sore from squats under any normal circumstances. It's not a proxy that you should completely ignore. All of this, in my opinion, is a great way to auto-regulate your frequency as well as volume and intensity, because it's different for every muscle group. They require different amounts of work and different amounts of rest between sessions. So, ultimately, weakness and pump are good proxies for sufficient muscle stimulation within a workout, while soreness is a good proxy between workouts. Mainly because it's the only one you've got. On the long term, if your strength is going up on relatively high rep sets, say 8 and above, you're doing things right. If your strength is going down or is staying the same, but you're feeling okay, you should probably increase your volume a little bit. If your strength is going down or is plateaued, but you're feeling tired, you should probably decrease your volume a little bit. Anyway, gotta get out of here before the birds poop on me. They seem really riled up. I don't know if you can hear it. Using myself and my full week of training as an example of what I'm talking about here, I work out my back and chest 4 times per week because they can handle that and probably require that kind of volume to grow at this point. Quads I do twice per week, first on Monday then on Thursday, because they easily get sore and they stay sore for quite a long time. Same thing with my hamstrings, working them out twice per week, first on Tuesday then on Friday. Then I do biceps and triceps twice per week and calves and lateral delts twice per week. Could definitely work them out more often than this if I really wanted to focus on them, but I'm not willing to use more resources on them at the moment. I perform all of my sets to technical failure, and I use 3-minute rest periods on compound movements and 2-minute rest periods on isolation movements. On barbell rows, I used 70 kilos and got 10, 9, 9, 8, 7, and 6. So I had to do 6 sets to lose considerable strength. On feet-up bench press, I used 90 kilos and only had to do 4 sets to drop from 10 reps to 6 reps. Now, this isn't any hard and fast rule for me. I just happen to aim for 10 reps on the first set for both of these exercises, and I simply stop after I lose about half of my reps or almost half of my reps. Either that or when I get a considerable pump. On hack squats, I used 70 kilos. My goal for the first set is 12 reps, and I had to do 4 sets to drop from 12 to 6. So pretty similar to bench press. Incline dumbbell curls are an exercise I haven't done in a few years, so I kinda had to find my technique and groove and the right weight. I usually lose bicep strength pretty fast, but this time I didn't because I accidentally did them too light trying to find my technique. I did 3 sets with the 10 kilo dumbbells and then 2 sets with the 12 kilo dumbbells. At that point I had such a big pump that I just stopped there, but at least now I know better next week. The same thing on cable extensions. I definitely could have gone heavier, but I got a pretty good pump doing 4 sets of 12 with 37.5 kilos. Though I think the real weight is like half of that. The stacks never tell the truth. So that's the Monday workout analyzed. Tuesday I'm starting off with chin-ups, trying to focus on the lats as much as possible, and I definitely felt them here, but you cannot avoid using your biceps on this exercise no matter how you slice it. So compared to the barbell rows, I lost strength pretty fast here, going from 12 to 6 reps in just 4 sets, with my body weight of 92 kilos on this day. Weighted push-ups, especially done with these handles that allow you to go deeper, are a killer exercise for my chest. Using 15 kilos of added weight, I went from 15 reps to 8 reps in just 3 sets. When you fatigue this fast, it's a sign of a really effective exercise. Or just having really fast twitch target muscles. Probably a little bit of both. Leg curls I haven't done in a while, so kinda had to play around with these as well. Did 4 sets with 42.5 kilos, going from 15 to 10 reps, at which point my pump was so crazy that I didn't choose to go any further. Then on standing calf raise, I got 15, 11 and 10 using 100 kilos, at which point I kinda cramped out and stopped. And finally on lateral raises, I got 15, 12, 10, 10, 10. At this point I started reducing my rest periods from 2 minutes to 1 minute, and then I only got 8, so I stopped there. 6 sets total on these, so definitely a muscle that can take quite a beating, at least for me. Another night, another empty gym. Thursday I started off with high bar squats, doing 4 sets with 110 kilos, going from 10 reps to 6 reps. Doing this voiceover on the night between Saturday and Sunday, a couple days later, I can say that the DOMS was crazy. It's almost debilitating to the point that walking is very uncomfortable. So definitely a sufficient stimulus here, at least for the first week when these exercises are still kinda fresh for me. Time for the upper body. Now, I was going to dumbbell bench press with the 30s, but they are really chunky, so you can't really get them deep enough without them bumping into your chest. So, I ended up going with the little bit leaner 32s. Let's see how this goes. The 32s actually ended up being a perfect weight, especially with me going as deep with them as I did. Normally I stop a little bit higher on the dumbbell bench press. I just managed to get 12 reps on my first set, and then by set 4 I only got 7, so I stopped there. Then dumbbell rows are a different story. This is a new exercise for me, so I might have started a bit too light. I've done the mistake of starting unfamiliar exercises too heavy way too often, so I decided to be conservative here and just focused on having really clean technique. Similar to my barbell rows, I did 6 sets total, getting 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 and 8, using the 25 kilo dumbbells. On pushdown using 67.5 kilos, I got 14, 11, 9 and 8, so 4 sets total. And on cable curl, I got 15, 12, 9 and 8, so 4 sets total as well, using 60 kilos here. As time has passed, my cable curls have gotten closer and closer to my pushdowns, it seems. Maybe I'll finally have bigger arms now that I've started training them relatively consistently. Before, maybe 5% of my workouts had arm isolation exercises in them. So, yeah. Friday I was traveling to a different city with my aunt who was working as my camera person for the day. Usually I just lean it against the water bottle. Got 10, 8, 7 and 6 on stiff leg deadlifts using 110 kilos, so the exact same weight and reps as high bar squats. Pretty interesting. Then I moved on to vertical pull machine, one that I've never used before and had no idea what to start off with. Chose to use 70 kilos and got 15, 12, 10, 10 and 10, at which point I said fuck it, put 80 kilos on the stack and decided to go all out. Actually got 15. So certainly could have gone heavier, really underestimated myself on these because I've overestimated myself so many times on pull downs. Picking a weight that's way too high, having to cheat the last reps and my forearms feeling like they're the only ones that got a stimulus. This however was a different story, didn't feel anything in my biceps or forearms, only the lats. Really great machine, too bad this was a city I don't go to often. I can say the same thing for the next machine as well, which was a chest fly where you have your elbows bent. I love machines like these because it allows for more range of motion than where you have your arms straight. Too bad most gyms don't have these. Only had to do 4 sets with 50 kilos to drop from 15 reps to 8 here. Did my calf raises on a leg press machine because there was no better alternative. This time it took 5 sets to go from 15 reps to 8 reps using 100 kilos. The resistance curve was very consistent on this machine. The first set felt like I could only get like 10 reps, but then I somehow cranked 5 more. Finally, finished off with some cable lateral raises using one arm at a time. Did these with 10 kilos and it took 4 sets to go from 15 reps to 8. I'll see how far I can progress on all of these exercises for the next 4 weeks, including this one, and then I'll return with an update on that. Probably won't be showing too much training footage until that point comes. Thanks for watching the video. I will see you again next week.